don't normally have that type of platform. And we started with the women that were calling in on our line, and it's really, really important. And it's about grassroots organizing, really true grassroots. It's about really doing what you say that you're going to do. And you want to pull somebody with you, reach back and pull up. And so this is what this is all about. It's about sister circles and supporting women and being true advocates for women. So I think it's extremely, extremely important that young women of color participate in the discussion, and this is the platform that we're giving them.
Right. I completely agree. And I also, one of the things that I love about the leadership group is that so often we get, as young people, we get older people who tend to lecture us about issues or lecture us about what's right or what we should do. But it means a lot. I know, particularly to me, it means a lot when someone of my same caliber or someone in my same age group talks to me about issues that concerns us, and that they can educate me on something that I didn't know about. But it means more to me when someone of just someone like me tells me different things. So and it sticks more. And
so that's the purpose of the leadership group, is you going out and you talking to your peers, because they may not relate to things that I have to say. They may be like, okay, she not my mama. But they relate to you because they talking one-on-one with you. And you'll be able to relay that message. They can hear what you're talking about. When you say reproductive justice and, you're talking about birth control, they can really hear you, because you're having some honest discussions with women your age. So, it's really, really important. Can you name like any past advocacy activities that you've done that you really, really enjoyed, or you really got something out of it?
I know off the top of my head, one of our members did an educational forum in the Inglewood area. She did her forum on birth control, and it kind of amazed me with the lack of knowledge that so many women had about something as simple as birth control, which is not all that simple, but to most it may seem simple, but a lot of people didn't know like the different forms or how to properly use it or how they can access it, or especially the effects of it. A couple people could name some forms of birth control, but what it actually can do to their body, they couldn't. So that was
and that is really important. The calls that we're getting, the majority of them are birth control failure. So young women don't know how to use the birth control that is prescribed for them. We have a caller. Go ahead, caller, and I'll come back to that point.
Yes, good evening. I want to commend you on this program, Chicago Abortion Fund.
Thank you.
I am an advocate for the right for a woman to choose whatever her choice may be. And sometimes people have a tendency to confuse abortion and birth control pills. And we need to be more forceful and understanding that this is real, and as they apply things, it's basically a black and white issue, and it shouldn't be. It's all about a woman's right to choose, regardless of what her race or religion is.
Yeah,
and keep up the good work.
Thank you very much for calling in. Thank you. And that's true. And what we were saying, not knowing how to use birth control effectively. And I think a couple of things are happening there. About 95% of the women that call our line are on some type of governmental assistance. So what that tells us is that they either go to their clinic health centers for their health care or emergency rooms, or they don't go for health care. And if they're going to a clinic, they may not have a regular doctor every time. So they don't develop a relationship to talk about those type of things. We have a caller. Go ahead, caller. So to talk about those type of things, they have questions. And if their doctor is constantly changing, how do they even feel comfortable
Exactly.
You know, talking about reproductive health and sexual issues with someone that's constantly changing. I think we have another caller. Go ahead, caller.
You ladies always talking about the rights of the mother.
So, anyway, and on that note, I will say that we always get that argument about, you know, what about the rights of the unborn, or the, you know, the child, and so forth. And my thoughts on that, and will continue to be, is that a potential possible life doesn't trump a life already in existence. Exactly. And so that's my thoughts, and you know, I'm going to stick to that. Anyway, so back to the whole, you know, birth control. You know, the callers calling in, you know, have birth control failure. And we always get tons of calls from women that were using the patch, and they're overweight. That, you know, the patch you only use up to a certain certain weight.
Yeah, it's a weight limitation.
But doctors are prescribing it to women that are not supposed to be even using it. You know, so that doesn't make sense. Or if a woman is using birth control and the dosage is too high and it's making her sick, or she's not going to want to take it.
Exactly.
You know, so it's just, it needs to be more education. It needs to be better health care. And, you know, all those kind of issues that, you know, women are dealing with on a daily basis, unfortunately, that puts them in this situation. Go ahead, caller.
I would like to say, as far as rights, that first you have an embryo.
Oops. I'm sorry, caller. I think I hung up on you by accident. So if you can please give us a call back. I think I accidentally hit something. So what was I saying about the whole birth control thing?
Failure.
Right, the birth control failure and pills and that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, that forum that we went to, it really kind of was an eye-opener. And another eye-opener for me was when we actually went to the CLIP conference in Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. There was a workshop about just the woman's menstrual cycle. Mm-hmm. That,
right.
I mean, and everyone in that workshop, we were all activists in this, you know, we were all a part of this movement. And for them to not even know their menstrual cycle.
Right, exactly.
Like, wow. And so, how can you prevent different things from happening, or how can you understand yourself, you know, let alone different things concerning if you don't even know your menstrual cycle.
Right.
And so no one's teaching it.
Right. And so we need to have more conversations with our children. Parents need to talk to their children about their reproductive health, you know, because we're not having those conversations. I think we have a caller. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, hi. I was watching you and I'm listening to what you're saying, and it is true. Doctors are prescribing the patch and everything else and not informing us.
Can you turn down your TV? Because we can't, it's an echo.
Okay, I'm sorry. And it's not informing us, like myself. I was taking a birth control, and I had a surgery which caused me to use antibiotics.
Right.
Okay? They did not inform me that my antibiotics were overweight my birth control.
Exactly, and that's, thank you, caller, for calling in with that. That's a very important piece of information, that if you take antibiotics, they render your birth control ineffective. But nobody really explains that, and so then you end up pregnant.
Right, and one of those issues is because, like you mentioned before, if you go to a clinic, you don't even have the same doctor when you go. Right. And so if you have an issue going back, you have to rebuild that relationship with that.
And who wants to continue to keep doing that every time you go to the doctor?
The process over and over again. Right. So, yeah.
I mean, it's unfortunate. So hopefully with healthcare reform, there'll be some improvements in how women are able to access information and resources and support, and, you know, doctors providing that information